Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for telling my dad that my stepdad won't stop asking me for money and not wanting to apologize? I, 23F, have been receiving texts from my stepdad, 44M, for over a year now asking me for money. He is aware that I myself am currently trying to save for my first place with my now fiancée and don't have much to spare, especially since he doesn't pay me back or forgets. He never texts me for anything else. Not even to ask how I'm doing, and recently he has been texting me almost every week at this point, demanding I send him money, and when I either say sorry, I can't, or I don't get back to him within half an hour, he will then text me messages like, of course you'd ignore me, or just whatever. About 3 weeks ago, I opened my phone just after waking up only to find a flood of messages from him late that night, again demanding money, and yet again texting me of course. Just 5 minutes after his message asking for money. I, having had enough at this point, text him back the following. Okay, first of all, I was asleep last night. Second of all, if all you are going to do is spam me demanding I send you money and throw a tantrum when I say no or just don't get back to you in time, then you might as well delete my number. I have my own financial issues to deal with right now, and as a father figure, I would hope you would understand this. Please do not text me anymore about this. That day, I went round my dad's, 41M, to visit, as I can only see him once a month and we'd arranged to meet that day. As usual, he asked what was going on in my life, and as it was fresh on my mind, I showed him the messages my stepdad had sent me as well as my response and asked for his opinion on the matter, to which he fully supported my decision to stand up for myself. We left it at that, or so I thought. The next day, I received a series of texts from my sister, 21F, basically saying that I'm a horrid person who just loves to shit spread about struggling people. I also was sent a text by my mom, 41F, just saying no words. Turns out that after I had left, my sister visited my dad and he told her everything, and now according to everyone, I badmouthed my stepdad to my dad when he did nothing wrong, and that we're attacking him for no reason because of his money situation, which we have nothing to do with. Since then, I have heard nothing from anyone, and today I was with my mom and everything seemed fine, until my stepdad dropped by to give something to my mom. I said hi to him and he just completely ignored me and walked out. My mom then turned to me and said you need to apologize to him. You really hurt his feelings. Now hey race where I might be the AH in all of this. I told her that if he was that upset with what I had told my dad, he should come and talk to me himself, and the very fact that since I texted him 3 weeks ago, I have only heard about the incident from her or my sister really doesn't sit right with me. I would apologize for sharing my personal issues with him to my dad, but I am not apologizing for anything my dad has said about it, as that is his own opinion on the matter, and if my stepdad has an issue with it, he should talk to him. Now I'm sat at home with my fiancée seriously debating if I should apologize to him at all, or if I do, how I should do it, as I don't want to make the situation worse for myself, but I also don't want my stepdad to do stuff like this again in the future. So, am I the bad person? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for not allowing my cousin to bring his dog around anymore after it tried to bite my daughter twice? I, 32F, honestly don't know if I'm overreacting here, but I feel like I have to protect my kid. My cousin, 34M, is really mad at me now, and it's causing a huge issue in my family. So, my cousin has this dog, a medium-sized mixed breed that he's absolutely obsessed with. He treats it like his baby, and I get it, people love their pets. I don't have a problem with dogs in general, but this dog has always been kinda sketchy. It's super protective of him and doesn't seem to like anyone else, especially kids. The first time there was an issue was a few months ago. We had a family barbecue at my house, and my cousin brought his dog along. My daughter, 5F, was playing outside, just running around, when she got a little too close to the dog while it was eating. Out of nowhere, the dog lunged at her and tried to bite her face. I was right there and managed to grab her before anything happened, but it scared her so bad she was crying for the rest of the day. When I confronted my cousin about it, he just shrugged it off and said his dog was startled and that my daughter shouldn't have been so close while it was eating. I was pissed, but I let it go because I thought maybe it was just a one-time thing. Then last week, it happened again. My cousin came over, and of course, he brought the dog. I had told him beforehand to keep the dog on a leash or in the backyard, but he insisted it wasn't necessary because the dog is fine. Well, during the visit, my daughter was sitting on the couch coloring when the dog suddenly growled and lunged at her again. It snapped at her arm, and while it didn't break the skin, it scared her half to death. She was screaming and shaking, and I was furious. I told my cousin right then and there that his dog is not welcome in my house anymore. He got super defensive, saying the dog didn't mean anything by it and that my daughter must have done something to provoke it. But she was literally just sitting there, minding her own business. He kept arguing, saying I'm treating his dog like it's a monster and that banning the dog is unfair because it's part of his family. He even said I was being anti-dog, which is ridiculous because I love dogs. I just can't risk something happening to my child. Now he's saying he won't come over anymore unless I let him bring the dog, which feels like manipulation to me. Some family members are on my side, saying I did the right thing, but others are saying I'm overreacting and need to understand how much the dog means to him. I'm standing my ground, but now I'm wondering if I'm really being too harsh. Am I the bad person? What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for expecting my husband to do my job while I'm on maternity leave? I don't even know where to start. I feel like I'm drowning, but maybe I'm the one at fault for expecting too much. I'm 27F and a first-time mom to a 7-week-old baby girl, Daisy. She's beautiful, but she cries all the time. The doctors call it colic, but it feels like I must be doing something wrong. Isn't a mother supposed to be able to comfort her child? I can't even manage that. The past few weeks have been a blur of pain, exhaustion, and failure. My C-section scar still throbs when I move too much, and sleep is a distant memory. I don't remember the last time I slept more than 2 hours in a row. My husband, Mark, 31M, tells me I'm overreacting. He works long hours and says he needs his rest, so I do the nights alone. Every feeding, every diaper change, every midnight sobbing session, both hers and mine, it's all me. Then there's my MIL, Susan. She moved in 3 weeks ago after a fight with my FIL. She has taken over the living room, refuses to help with the baby because that's your job, and makes passive-aggressive comments about how I'm not keeping the house clean enough. I thought it would be temporary, but she shows no sign of leaving. She has been treating me like a live-in maid. She doesn't cook for herself or for anyone else. Instead, she'll drop hints like, "It'd be nice if there was some tea," while I'm juggling a screaming baby. Yesterday, she had friends over for book club, and they spent the afternoon laughing loudly and commenting on how messy the house was. I wanted to scream. Instead, I hid in the nursery and cried. And the dog, our dog got sick. He's been vomiting everywhere for days. Mark refuses to help because it was my idea to get a dog in the first place. Between cleaning up after him, trying to soothe the baby who won't stop crying, and keeping the house somewhat livable, I feel like I'm losing my mind. The worst was last week when I got mastitis. My fever hit 102 degrees Fahrenheit, and I could barely stand, let alone take care of the baby. I begged Mark to take a day off to help, but he said work was too busy. That night, he ordered takeout for himself, ate in the living room with Susan, and didn't even ask if I wanted anything. Yesterday, everything came to a head. The baby was screaming, the laundry machine broke mid-cycle, the dog threw up on the couch, and Susan decided to host another book club without asking me. I hadn't eaten all day, and I was shaking from exhaustion. I begged Mark to ask his mom to leave or at least help me get through the day. He looked at me like I was crazy and said, "You're the one on maternity leave. What else do you have to do?" I don't remember what I said back, but it doesn't matter. He stormed out, leaving me with the mess, the baby, and Susan glaring at me like I was the problem. Later, she told me I was a bad wife for upsetting him and that I should be grateful he worked so hard for us. I feel like I'm failing at being a mom, a wife, a person. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm selfish for expecting help. Maybe I'm a bad mother because I can't stop my baby from crying. Maybe this is all my fault. I don't know anymore. Am I the bad person? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.